Hey guys, welcome back to X2Z Garage, and in this episode me and my dad are going to be changing the gas pedal on the 68 Mustang. But before we get to that, I got to show you a couple things on the tractor because I have it right here, and I did a couple things. So the first thing I did is I put the engine cover on there, so that's done. And then come around to the rear door here. I put the new window switch on and it works perfectly, so I'm glad I didn't have to swap over the harness. And then next step on this would be to track down another door and then pound out that rocker panel, and find a new trim piece. But let's head inside now and we'll get busy on the pedal.
Hello everybody, we're back. Max and I are going to work on getting this fancy pedal in. First we're going to have to take out the old one, of course, but just in case you didn't see the other video.
You should, if you haven't, if this is the first video of this series you've watched so far, you should probably go back to the first one to catch up on our progress. So,
alright, this is a low car throttle pedal for a 68, well actually a 65 through 69 cable driven application, because the standard ones were all mechanical linkage. And because we're putting a late model 5.0 in the Mustang, we're going to need a cable operated throttle pedal. So this is the best option we could find. Like, again, we're not sponsored by Low Car, but it looks like a pretty quality product. What do you think?
Yeah, it feels pretty solid. There's no play in this little pedal there.
And it's supposed to basically bolt right in, so we just have to remove the screws that hold the factory pedal in, which we're going to do here in a little bit. We won't bore you with a lot of those details. We'll probably just do a fast mode so we can get through it, and then once we get it mounted, we're going to move on to addressing some of the surface rust that was in the engine compartment. Now, years ago, when my wife bought this car, the entire front half from the floorboards forward was rusted so bad the lower control arms pulled out of the car. Well, she spent quite a bit of money on the car, so she decided she needed to spend a lot more money on the car and paid a frame shop to basically replace everything from the back seat forward. So when they did, they didn't use a very good paint. So over time, this car's never seen winter since then. But it's, you know, gotten some surface rust under that paint because it must have been porous enough that it started growing.
Flaking off.
So what we're going to do is take this Milwaukee die grinder, and we have these different colored discs, and each one's a different grit. This being the least, the middle of range, and this is the most aggressive, because we don't want to remove metal. We just want to get the old paint off and the surface rust off. And once we get most of that off, we're going to use this Rust-Oleum. It's called Rust Reformer, and that should seal up the whatever oxidizing we can from the pits that we just can't get to. This should convert it into, I don't know what the chemical basis for doing that is, but it should protect it. And then we're going to use this Eastwood Extreme Chassis Black Satin, which is supposed to be a pretty durable. It's 3 times more durable than their original chassis black, so we'll probably hit the entire engine compartment with this so it all blends and looks good. And then if there's anything under the car while we're doing it, we have a couple cans of it, we can address that when we have it on the lift. But that's what our goal is today, you know. But like always, we have these lofty goals, and then reality takes over, and sometimes you
run out of time.
Yeah, you're just not going to get good time. Plus, we're dealing with a pretty cold chunk of weather. I'm sure you folks down in Texas are starting to understand what we deal with pretty much daily through the winter. So we can only work out this stuff so long in a video, because when we have the bullet heater going, which we normally would if we weren't doing these recordings, we can stay fairly okay. Your feet get cold because the concrete's frozen, but while we're recording, we shut that off so you can have some better audio quality. So we're going to probably start dubbing voiceover on some of this so we can keep the heat on so we can work longer. So without further ado, let's get started. Well, it's got a spring on there, so you might want to unload that spring. This is hard on my knees. Okay, that head's not going to clear. Might have to pop that spring, see on top? That spring on top of that arm. To pop that off. Okay. Maybe a little more slop. Alright, we'll show them.
Alright, then we'll go back over to the table and talk about this and stuff.
Alright, everybody. We got the pedal out of there and the pedal assembly. This pedal actually hooked to a lever with this screw and spring. That spring was what, if you push the gas pedal, it would make the pedal flip back up. So basically just had to remove this fancy screw, which if you ever lose this, good luck ever finding a new one. Because it's got a tapered tip, it's got a collar, and it's threaded back here. I could probably make one on our steel lathe that's behind us, but I wouldn't want to have to. So we're going to make sure this gets screwed back into that spot along with the pedal. Alright, looks like it should. So we'll put that in our collection of OG stuff and get to putting this on. So we'll see you guys in a little bit. We'll probably
Alright, so we are working on getting the plates sandwiched into the firewall right now. The factory gasket is
grommet.
The grommet is
too thick for the screws they give you with the kit. So we're going to remove that and use some Permatex Right Stuff 1 minute gasket. It'll do the same kind of job because this isn't going to move like the rubber grommet did. It needed to be able to move because of the linkage arm going through, but this is going to be a cable when it's all done. So in order to seal this, keep it from getting water in there when it's raining, we're going to seal up that hole real good so that we don't have to worry about that in the future. And it's kind of nice stuff because it comes pressurized. So once we get it moving here, you can see it's coming up out of the top. I'm just going to put a small bead all the way around that hole. And this stuff works great. I used to use it when I used to dirt race, and it would seal up a valve cover gasket and you'd never get a drop of oil coming out of them, which if any of you have ever ran high RPM engines, you know that can be a treat, trying to keep it from leaking all the time. And I'm just going to kind of set that on there and squish it down. 1 minute from now, that bad boy will be bonded.
Gotta get perpendicular.
What's that?
You gotta get lined up right, or the pedal won't be straight.
Oh, it's got some adjustment.
Oh, okay.
You want to grab me a paper towel, so we'll speed this video up so you guys can see the rest of it.
Alright, so I'm inside the car now, and I'm gonna line this little plate up to the screws, which there's that one.
Alright, now just try to use that arm. We'll try to get one of them started.
Okay, arm. The arm goes down, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The curve's on the top. Let me know when you're touching it and I'll start turning the screw.
Alright, go ahead.
Hopefully we start it without cross-threading it because that always sucks. Alright, I think I'm getting it started. Okay, I'm not going to tighten that one. I'm going to get the other screw and we're going to try to fish that into the arm. Folks, you're going to need 2 people. I can't stress that enough.
For sure.
This is not a one-person gig. Alright, looks like that one's starting too. So right now I'm going to snug these up so we can get that Permatex squished in there good. And once that starts to harden up, we'll back them off so we can make our final pedal adjustment, because we have to reassemble it and make sure the pedal's pointing straight up and down. If it's not, adjust and such.
Hi guys, I'm down here in this very uncomfortable position. But the next step is to drill this hole for the cable. Just like that.
Alright, here, you want to hand me that drill and I'll get that out of your way.
Alright. Then, this will go in here pretty much vertically.
I'm just going to shove it through those grommets. Be careful. Sorry about the shaking, people. It's a very awkward angle to film.
This is a very uncomfortable position.
Wiggle and push at the same time.
Yeah.
Alright, well, I don't know if this quality is going to be very good. He keeps kicking the camera stand by accident.
Has the anti-shake on, so.
A difficult position.
Just go like this.
Oh, it's spline, so you gotta get those little splines lined up.
There we go, just like that. Squeeze them together. Just like that.
That's gonna go a little more.
Alright guys, and I just fell into the car. I squeezed that little joint there together with a pair of pliers, and then I got the set screw underneath that arm there tightened up so the pedal doesn't fall off. And then my dad outside tightened up the screws so it shouldn't go anywhere. Alright guys, so I am now going to install the shifter again. Where did I set it? Oh, here it is. Now that we have it all painted and stuff, so we'll plug in our light, which is not currently installed, so I'll have to go grab that. Alright, so I have the light installed. It just clips into that little spot right there, and then we'll plug this in. Let's see if I can't reverse this. Oh, not going in that way. Alright. There we go. Okay, and then I have my gasket somewhat lined up at the moment. Alright. Make sure not to pinch these wires. Then take our screws, our bolts, finger start them. Then I have my Milwaukee right angle impact with a, what was this, 3/8 bit, or not a bit, but a socket. Just gonna Alright, now the shifter is installed and it is no longer wiggly, which is great. Alright, so we have already taken care of some of this rust here, and then with this,
Here, why don't you turn that light on brighter?
it's on the brightest setting.
Oh, that one.
Oh, this one, yeah.
There you go. Now you folks can kind of see. This had surface rust all over it, so we've hit it with Rust-Oleum Rust Restorer before we paint it with the chassis paint. And you can kind of see, like under here, I don't know if I can get that light on there, there's some of that rust dust on there. So he's going to polish that off with
This Milwaukee die grinder with a pad on there.
So beware, this is a dusty job. So
Always wear safety glasses.
yeah, let's see if I get some light in there better. All right, go for it, buddy. Find that this Milwaukee die grinder works pretty good. They have Scotch-Brite pads. If you try to stay off those sharp edges of those Scotch-Brite pads, they last a lot longer. You know, like what he's doing right now, he's hitting that sharp edge. All right, and you wipe that
We're gonna
off.
wipe it off.
For microfiber cloths, they suck up a lot of that. That way the dust doesn't fool you into grinding off any more than you need to. Which looks like you still got some work to do.
A little bit, yeah.
Like I say, be cautious around like these areas where they've done the spot welds because it'll chew that Scotch pad right up. And you can also change the setting to a lower speed on the very back.
Okay, yeah. Just hit that button there.
Yeah, there you go. Then it'll be more controllable.
Now we have some of this Rust-Oleum rust reformer. It converts rust into what I don't know. So we're
Here, come over on this side and spray
down
that
there.
angle so you're not shooting the lip.
Here's a little tip. Take a little piece of cardboard. Let's see if I can do this. And just hold it against the lift. So you don't, just a chance here. So you don't shoot it.
Yeah. And we're just going to put a light coat so it converts that rust into whatever it does to change it over from rust to protect it. Because we're eventually, once we get this whole under half, cleaned up, that's good, boy.
Right.
Yeah, because it's cold in here. We can't really put a thick coat on it. We don't need a thick coat.
Plus that chassis paint will be going over that, so.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to be tinkering with. You can see we've got some other areas that just a little bit of surface dust. And here where they put the floor pans in, that that stuff flaked. We'll be hitting that with a wire wheel and trying to correct all this stuff because while we got it in the air, I mean, why not? I'm hoping not to have to work on this car again. Max might when he's 75 or something, but I don't plan on doing it again. So, you got anything to say?
Well, we're just going to finish the rest of this stuff up, and then we'll tune you back in. That'll probably be all that we have for you today. So, yeah, we'll get working on this, and we'll see you after it's pretty much complete. Alright, so we have this piece, or this section of the floor cleaned up now. We just got to put some rust reformer on it, and then hit it with the chassis paint along with the other spots that we cleaned up. Alright guys, so we have just about finished up the chassis. That's that section now, it's all painted. We did that there and a little bit right there. What else? It sprayed a little bit on that just to cover some of it up. And then there's still a little bit more to do, but we'll probably get to that at a later time. So
this is what it looked like, and this is what it looks like now after getting all the rust knocked off of it.
Quite a bit better.
You can tell that whenever they did this body work, this must have got flash rusted, and they covered up. They just shot it with some cheap undercoating. But we'll try to get that corrected. Hopefully we can get it to look all like this area, where it's all more rust. Like this whole area here. This part was all surface rusted. But if we can get to it, we'll clean it up. And we have, like I said, some Eastwood frame paint that we'll put on the whole thing after we get as much rust off as we can.
So that's pretty much all we have for you for this video, and we'll see you in the next one.